Hey, Papercut here with another replay review. Um, Today we're looking at Ripe Watermelon 2.0, a Gold Zushi's Legacy player. He commented on the AV4 Reddit that he had been rushed 3 times in a row and lost each game, and he was finding a lot of struggle against the Feudal Rush, which is the big meta right now. If you're wondering why the Feudal Rush is so meta, I think part of it is the maps. All of the maps allow pretty quick access to each other's bases and are kind of hard to wall off. Like, just look at this opening, for example. It's really hard to wall off this. The center gorge makes it so it's not easy to wall off the front. You don't have any good wood lines on the side. It would have been hard for you. Your opponent had a little bit better. He could have walled this whole thing off right here and been fine. But you were cursed with a very, very open spawn. But a lot of these maps are small, so it's quick to get to the opponent's base. They're kind of hard to fully wall off and protect, or there's not a lot of safe resources. Second is, overall, if you're going to take the two styles of aggressive attack or booming defensive, aggressive is easier. There is a defender's advantage. There is a way to do that style, and it's an effective style. But if I think about a newer player, like someone at the gold level, what's easier to execute is straight on attack. But I'm a big fan of the booming defensive style. I played China for basically an entire season to really get down this idea of how do I do a 2TC defensive, and that really helped my macro, that really helped my timing on defense, that really helped me learn how to come back in games. So if I get down in a normal game, I know I have that ability to defend myself and get back in the game. So I think it's a worthwhile style to learn, and I want to look at how are you booming, but I'm going to be really focusing on how you're defending. Especially against another Zushi's Legacy player. Zushi Legacy has a really strong Zugnu rush that I know has been frustrating for people. So let's hop in and see what he could have done differently. Okay, first small thing. I'm going to have some larger takeaways at the end, but I'm always going to give you some small tips as we go. Small thing is, you should have all your starting villagers chop down the tree together and do one full drop off. But here's the key, and this early timing can be a little tough at first. You want to shift pre-make the mill. So it pops up like this, right? It's this outline. So you're going to have 5 cutting, and you're going to pre-make that outline, and you're going to have your Imperial Official on it, and then you're going to tell, once they're done and they start walking to this TC, so you have to be like watching to catch this. Before they walk to this TC, box over them and have them jump off the mill. And here's the thing. If villagers build an economic building, they will drop off whatever resource they have in hand, as long as they're not shift-clicked onto the sheep. So, for example, if you box over these villagers and clicked on the mill and held shift to do another command and on the sheep, they wouldn't do it. But if you box over these villagers and have them drop off at the mill, they will drop off the wood after they build the mill, and with your Imperial Official watching, you'll get extra wood. So it's a small thing, but it does give you a nice little bump of extra wood, which means you have to chop down less as you're aging out. So I'm watching for a good scout pattern here, way to send that back. Actually, Gorge is the one map, no, this isn't Gorge, whatever this is called, the map with all the gold in the center. This is the one map that I actually suggest you do an Admiral scouting pattern, because usually I suggest you run in the middle, that you cut back and do kind of this half circle, and go all the way back around, and then get behind your opponent's base, see what they're doing. But I don't think there's any sheep in the middle on this map. There's not. So there's actually no usefulness in running down the center here. So yeah, actually on this map, I will take a side and run down the side, get to the corner, cut back in the middle, and then get back to my base, run the other corner, and get to the opponents. So your goal here is, well, first thing I want to see is, are you going to get your second TC as fast as possible? I notice you do the thing where you get down both landmarks and then get your second TC. A big thing for you booming and being defensive is assume most opponents are going to rush you, because if they don't, you'll actually just outboom them. You need to ask yourself, what can be my safe area? For me, what can be your safe area is this back corner. Why? Well, I see this wood line that's near the wall, and this little wood line right here. They are your protection. They're your connecting for your wall. So what you could do is get a wall here, put up a wall here, and this is your back pocket, because if you're going to go 2TC Song and your opponent's pushing you, a thing you'll probably have to do is drop granaries and build farms, which is perfect because you get a lot cheaper wood structures that aren't military. Nice, good amount of sheep. Also keep this boar in the back of your mind, because if your opponent is like heavy pushing you on one side, you can sneak villagers out to take this boar, or run all the way back and take this deer, if it comes to that. Good sheep find. I would check this back corner real fast just to see what's there, and then go check the opponent's side. This is an okay meditation gardens. You could put it here and maybe get a little bit more, but at the same time, this is safer. If you put it here, your opponent could just stand there and kill it. So I'm fine with this. You get some stuff in here. One small quibble is that I wish you were at your opponent's base at this point, seeing what they're doing. I like your use of straggler trees here. So you're doing that build, I assume, where you get all your stragglers first, and you get the stone. One thing to speed up this process. Oh no, you can't. I was about to say, take your villagers off food, but right, you need your second landmark. So never mind, I'm a dum-dum. Get the second landmark, and then you go pretty beautiful. You obviously have a build order in mind. He's getting up his at the same time. The thing you're checking here is he's not going second TC. So immediately you know that's going to be your guys' big separation point. I'm going to turn down my sound just a tick. I've heard on videos it can be a little overwhelming sometimes. Okay. So you know you're going to get pushed, and you now need to use your defender's advantage. What is the defender's advantage? A couple things. One, you can have defensive structures that your opponent has to walk into. Two, you have if you're making military, your military gets there faster than his. So you have, as long as you don't throw your units away, you should be able to defend, because they have to come in under your base, they have to, and you get faster reinforcements. Couple things. You have to consider the second TC as a way to protect yourself. You put the second TC next to your other TC back here. I would actually be of two minds. One, you could have put it here, because it does two things. One, it protects the other side of your food source here. It also kind of protects this gold and protects these berries. So this kind of gives you a safe little pocket to get resources. The other option is to put it here. Once again, this protects this gold, so your opponent can't push that, but it also presets up your defensive backline here. A big thing about defense is pre-planning. Where can I set up my stuff to be safe? So in this case, if you're like, this back pocket's going to be where I put up my farms. Okay, well, putting a TC here protects one walk-in. Then I could put up walls. I'm good to go. Another thing is knowing how kind of exposed your food is right here. Either a wall right here or a tower is going to be really important. Because if you don't, since you're not protecting your gold is by far the easiest thing to get. This food's pretty easy to get too, especially once they go out to the backberries. Okay, so this outpost, what you have to consider is, what is my outpost defending? Oh, it's defending my food. Your TC is already doing that. Look at your TC range. Where would have this tower been better? Been better here. Because if you put it here, one, you get you're now defending this outside area right here, where your TC covers the front side area. Also, it helps make sure that nothing's sneaking around the back of the base. Or it could have been on the gold, which is once again still exposed. At this point, also, I think it's pretty worthwhile to get another Imperial Official out, because you want one Imperial Official on food, one on gold, and one on wood. Because the longer you're not supervising, the less extra resources you're missing out on. Those resources really matter. Which is another reason why I don't want this TC on this wood line. I'd want the TC near the gold, not on it, near it, so that it's still collecting the tax on this mill, on this camp, and then you put a mill here, and then you're getting tax on this mill. As much as possible, you have an Imperial Fisher per big resource. That doesn't mean all your units are getting the same resource, but like your majority of your wood villagers should be dropping off at the same wood camp. The majority of your food villagers should be dropping off at the same mill to get that extra resource, and you're missing out on that right now. So the first thing to show up, and here's something you need to do. This scout here, while it tells you when they're walking up, is a little useless. I'd rather have your scout back here so you can see what production is he dropping. Is he going second TC? So is this like a fake out where he wants you to overreact and he gets his own second TC down? Is he adding spearmen? Is he adding horsemen? Because here's why. If he goes mass Zugnu, if you can get down an early barracks, an early stable, you can kill his Zugnu with a few horsemen, which you can supervise the stable to get that out quickly. You're going to match him with Zugnu, it's fine, but you want to take your advantages where you can. So, oh, he has Zugnu, I'm over here, he's only sending Zugnu, I'm going to make a bunch of horsemen, and force him to go spears, and then I mass Zugnu. Because if he does spears Zugnu, your massive Zugnu will just be better, because his spearman will do nothing. Instead, you kind of sit here, and you already have this vision. This tower's kind of giving you that. So notice immediately where he goes. He's like, okay, I'm going to go sneak around the back. This is why I'm talking, like, get your walls up as soon as possible. If you know he's going to move, you could have got this wall up here already and protected this backside. There's your stable, but it should have been your first production building. And this tower should have been up already, right? Okay, so we see he's also going horseman. So, if you had seen that back here, one, you could have gone spears instead, because it's more of a defensive unit. Or, knowing that he's going horseman Zugnu, you could have set a horseman on the backside here, because he's probably definitely on pocket resources. Not at this moment, but once he runs out of this, I bet he goes down to this deer. He has a boar, he has all this nice stuff down here. But he's going all in on you. But see, this tower was late. Now imagine if this TC had been here. No push. No push comes out of here. But look, here's what I mean about the defender's advantage, right? To attack, he had to walk his units up and around. Now his reinforcements have to take that time to go up and around. So while he technically has more units than you, you have more immediate units right here taking out this pocket. So the more you're forcing him to rotate, the easier it is for you to defend and take out his stuff. Don't chase. Chase with the horseman, but these Zugnu should stay and defend this tower because he's going to walk in at this point, and yep, unnecessary villager death. Yeah. So here's your problem. Whenever you're doing an aggressive versus a boom, you're the boom, he's the aggressor. There is this, you are basically waiting for your extra villagers to pay off economically, which allows you to then produce more units than him. His goal is to take better trades. He has to do damage on you before your economy pays off. So you have to take what I call what anyone would call a really good trade. A really good trade is when you are not losing units, you shouldn't, and you're taking out more units from him. You did that all the way until you fell back into his trap of his reinforcements. Don't do that. Your goal when defending is just to push him off initial resources, and you only take a fight if you're absolutely sure you're going to win and clean him. You didn't know what he had. You saw him have reinforcements, and you have to assume he's going to have a lot more. You need to use your scout and check, but don't overcommit. It is always better to save military and keep making more, because he has to push into you. If he can't kill you, if he's not walking on 3 rams, don't fight unless it's just pushing him off. Also, I think you're doing the thing where it's technically cheaper to drop more production and get the free unit than actually make the unit. But, like, this is not too much production. You're also overcommitting a horseman, because if he switched to spears, you won't want 4 stables. I think 2 stables is fine, 2 to 3 stables is fine, and just keep massing Zugnu with your horsemen. But really, your issue is food. You need more food. And you should already be setting your farms. Like, at this point, at 9 minutes, if you have enough military to defend, this is a good time to just start slow add granaries. So just put 1 granary here. Start adding farms. 1 granary, and just, like, over time. Keep relying to food. You really need to get a wood camp down and be supervising it with Imperial officials. Really, you need more Imperial officials, because that's your best defensive unit. Imperial officials on an archery range can help you produce a lot of Zugnu if it comes to that. So this tower doesn't do much because it's back here. You needed it in front here. But now that he's pushed off, 1, make a scout out of one of your 1,000 stables and check where he is. And if he's not here, build that wall. Look, you have also a deer pack. You have a berry pack back here. This is an amazing spot to get more food and then get your granaries down. Because if you get your granaries down, you win. I'm not joking. Like, if you get your granaries down safely, you win because your eco will explode. Your food eco will explode. See, that was a good engagement for you. You saw he had units out, you had more units, and you aggressively attacked and took them out. Now, here's my fear. You're going to try to follow up, and he maybe has like a bunch of units right here, or you just don't know. You don't have a scout. That's why I said I really wish you had made a scout earlier. But there's a chance he might be aging up. He might have just decided to cut production and age up. So pushing for horsemen's fine, but you need to watch them closely. Do not chase your Zugnu. Keep them back here. And this is your time with 742 food to get your walls up and get farms up. Basically, the idea here is you have successfully bought yourself time. Now you set yourself up to defend yourself, because I have lost plenty of games where I felt like I had turned the corner, and then also my opponent's walking in with an even larger army, and I had time to defend myself. So when you first buy yourself breathing room like this, make sure you are safe. Set up walls. Wall your base. Start getting your granaries up. If you are someone who's not Zushi with cheap farms, you are grabbing the extra resources, but still potentially maybe setting up farms. Like, it's okay to start doing a kind of early farm transition if you have the extra wood, because it's safe food. You catch another group out, amazing, but you don't know CK. This stealth forest is so killer. So at this point, you back up until you have a scout. No, don't push. I don't like this. He's invested way more into producing units, and you're not at your full production capacity. What I mean by this is you still don't make a lot of food for all this production you have. You actually can't make a lot of units. You have too much on gold right now. So I want you to, so with 11 on gold, this is like you're going to castle, but I don't think you're going to castle. You have nothing that requires this much gold. So you only require 20 gold. So like 6 on gold, especially because you should have, once again, 4 imperial officials out, 1 gathering tax, 3 supervising each major resource. But my fear is you're not going to get defenses up. He's going to have a much larger army you anticipate, and he's going to walk back on you. Yep. And you walked into his defender's advantage. Now he's rallying units right in front of his base. He has a tower up. What would have been more effective is having a scout. You take 4 or 5 of your horsemen and just run around the outside. Poke at him, and check his resources. Maybe check a pocket resource real fast to see if he went out on the map. And try to poke him. Because what you're doing when you just run your horseman around the outside is you're making him chase you, which buys you time. And he will chase you. He'll be scared. His Zugnu are too slow. His horseman will chase you, but you're same speed. So you just run around the outside of his base. Slow him down, which buys you once again more time to set up your base. And he did this little horseman, right? It's fine. But this is what I mean is that you haven't set up your defenses yet. You also have free space, so get this food. You need so much food. Because right now you have the ability to really get into this mass. If you want, you can fight this out in Feudal and just get more units to him. But right now you have 5 military and 48 villagers, and he has 42 villagers and 20 military. So this tells me you probably have missed some villager production. If you're in your 2TC, you have to be making villagers constantly. And you're about to run out of food, so you need to establish your next wood line anyway. Yep. Your lack of scouting is going to hurt you here. So imagine if you had taken this time to run down here and put up a wall, and then you have this wood line. You could sneak up to this wood line, sneak up to this wood line. You have these 2 little wood lines, but I'm just saying you should have a full granary set of farms up by now. Okay, now you're in the wall, but this is late. You're dropping more, so you're dropping more production, and I know part of it's for the tower. Sorry, I hit my computer. I know part of it's for the tower, for the Jiang Tower, but it's a waste of wood. You don't have the food to produce out of this. You just don't. So if that's the case, get the food. You have the food, get the food. And since you didn't get the walls up earlier, he's now just kind of raiding you. He's slowing you down. He's actually slowing you down because you can't boom as effective as you should be. And you're not making units anymore. But he has spent this time hardcore making units, and you have not, because you have a macro imbalance because you didn't set up your economy. See, no walls, continuous raids. He also has a pretty clear idea how many units you have, so expect the death ball. Don't chase. You know he has more units than that. Oh lord, he coming. So, look what I mean by having too much on gold. You have 1,710 gold that you can't spend. You have no food. And you're not making villagers. You're just starting your granary transition, and you made 1 as a village. I have done that before. Nothing's worse than when you think you did your full granary transition, you look in your middle granary as a village. But I digress. You have hobbled yourself. You actually pulled off a successful boom that's half as successful because you did not defend, set up your defenses, and get your resources set up. and now you're behind because you have all this beautiful production that you can't use because you don't have any food. And he just harassed you. Once he realized because at one point you got ahead, he was behind. So you know what he did? He harassed you, bought himself time, and committed to his aggression. Then he goes castle. Here's the thing. He has a pretty one-track mind. You definitely could have snuck villagers out over here. And built like another little, like put some walls up and just gathered wood down here, the berries down here. So yeah, you need to rush castle yourself now. Close this wall. Close this wall. Don't have an opening. You're building too many towers. I mean, like, actually, the thing is, these towers are useless if you don't upgrade. Yeah, start upgrading them, all of them. That's good. But look at how much your food's pumping now. But it's too late. The second you age up, he's going to walk in. He's probably just finished off his Zignu upgrades, and here they come. Okay, here's the thing. One, this is why I said close the wall. Because he actually doesn't have that much military. It would have taken him time to burn the wall down. While your towers kind of open up on them. Back up. You can't win this. You're waiting for your own upgrades to come in. So if you're waiting for upgrades, just walk back in your base. Run these guys out. But, like, delay. You need a delay right now. Don't take this fight. Don't take the fight. Nope. Alright, so my daughter woke up from her nap, so I'm now holding her in my arms. If you hear some extra talking, that's why. But you didn't delay. You took this fight, and you didn't need to take it. He's not killing you. He doesn't have rams. He might walk in, but you put up enough towers that you would shred him. Just hide these villagers over here. Run your military back. If he dies your farms, then you fight, but you need to buy yourself some time to get more units out. You had 600 food, a lot of gold, wood. You could have rallied all your units here, waited them out, and then fought when you got your upgrades and were ready to fight. And you honestly might have survived. I watched your Ottoman game, and you did the same thing. In your Ottoman game, the Ottomans were massing inside your base. You had a safe base. You could have set up farms in the back of your base. You could have set up walls. But when he pushed up, you walked out for some reason, and you took a fight that you weren't going to win. The biggest thing about defending is you delay your fight until you think you can win, or you absolutely have to fight because it's the end of the game. And so look at this. He doesn't actually, like... You had some food up. If you had been rallying here, you could have stopped these horsemen, and you might have won. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, to summarize the big things for you, this 2TC Zugnu boom is really powerful. But you need to, one, balance your resources better. So check your villager splits and ask, every time you play a game, watch a replay and ask, when did I get too much of a resource? Oh, I got a lot of gold. Why? Oh, it's because I had 11 on gold. I don't really need 11 on gold. I could do 6 on gold next time and try that. And get your Imperial officials. 2, use your civs bonuses to its fullest. 1 is the Imperial officials. You should have 1 Imperial official on each major resource, and your 4th one is gathering taxes. You need to use your bonuses, like all that cheaper wood production, to get up granaries and farms early, which will really boost your food economy and allow you to outproduce your opponent. 3, use your defender's advantages. So 1, stay in your base unless you absolutely need to defend. Wait until you think you can actually win. Scout so you know when your opponent's coming. One thing you can do is, if you build horsemen in your scouting, kill his reinforcements or harass his food to slow him down. So take like 2 or 3 horsemen, and if they're like running archers across the map, pick the archers, go attack food lines, wood lines, things like that to slow them down. And when you have space, set up defenses, set up walls, tower your gold. Make sure you set yourself up a safe space to set up your resources, and then it's all about surviving until those resources kick in. The Ottoman game and that game, I didn't watch your other one, but those 2 games you honestly should have won. You had the resources, you just didn't play your defense as fully as you could have. And yeah, last thing, as always, keep making villagers. Never stop making villagers. But besides that, I hope that helps on explaining your defensive style versus a more aggressive style. If you are ever interested in private coaching, check the description of this video. I do paid private coaching. You check my check the description and message me on Discord. And good luck on your future games. Say bye, Margot.